Well, football season is on the way. I can't wait. And what the heck, Sesame Street? Let's talk about it. Roll it, Kyle. One of my favorite times of the year. It's right before football season. College football is on the way. The NFL is not far behind it, and there are a bunch of things to talk about. I got the guy here right now, Matt Moscona, host of After Further Review, ESPN 104.5 here in Baton Rouge. He's also on in New Orleans. He hosts Whiskey and Wine, a show that runs every Saturday during LSU's football season. You and T-Bob do, what's it called? It's called
Scone and Tea.
Scone and Tea, which is a whole other thing. You know, do you get, is there an extra clause in your contract for working with T-Bob and doing these primetime shows?
They have to pay me very well.
Man, I've seen it up close and personal.
To do that, to spend that much of my free time with T-Bob Hebert. Let's just say I'm a bull at the negotiating table.
You must, but you got evidence to back you up, brother. So we got a lot to get into. Two segments here. Let's start first with college football. Season's on the way. All across the summer, we've heard all this chatter about name, image, and likeness, and most people are up to speed on that, where now these kids can actually make money based upon how they perform on the field. I initially wasn't so sure about it. I wasn't totally against it, but I wasn't sure about it because I'm thinking, well, you get a scholarship to go to a university, your education is completely paid for by the school. In some way, that's an exchange of funds because you don't have student loans and all that stuff you deal with afterwards. And then in talking to friends of mine who are former college athletes, a couple pros, it's like, you know, really, if I perform on the field and my number is 12, even though my name is not on the back of that jersey, if you're selling thousands of those jerseys or those jerseys are being given away, I mean, I should benefit from that. What was your initial impression of name, image, and likeness? And then I'll ask, what are your thoughts about all these coaches that are hammering it now?
I think, well, first of all, I love it.
Okay.
Anyone should be able to profit on their name, image, or likeness.
Okay.
We see it in different sectors with young people. There's no reason why, forget football, forget the most famous basketball player at Kentucky. If you're a baseball player at LSU, people know your name. Mm-hmm. Why can't you go sign autographs, do a meet and greet, and make $1,000 on a Saturday? There's nothing wrong with that. In its core concept of what it is, there's nothing wrong. The problem is that it was never intended to be used for recruiting inducements, but it's exactly what happened.
Sure.
You essentially green-lighted what has been phrased as cheating forever, and that's where coaches are having a problem with it, is it's only creating a greater divide with the haves and the have-nots. Because if you're a football program that doesn't have a deep roster of boosters that can be proactive in forming a collective and getting a fund together to compensate these players, well, the divide among rosters, even within conferences, just grows wider and wider. That's where coaches have a problem.
So if you take, to use your example, a university, here in Baton Rouge, right? Southern University across town, LSU right here, two great universities. The capacity for revenue is very, very different. So if you've got a young man here who's considering either one, or you pick any town where you've got Alabama, HBCU in Alabama versus the University of Alabama, the competition is different. There is no real way to level that field.
No, that'll never be leveled. It's even, look at the Power 5 level, Clay. Look at LSU, which has $150 million annual football revenue, athletic department revenue, compared to even Mississippi State, which is half that, right? I mean, you're in the same conference in the Power 5, and that gap's only going to grow because you don't have boosters putting together tens of millions of dollars to fund a collective to pay players at Mississippi State, but you'll have it at Alabama and LSU and Ohio State and Georgia and the programs that are the haves.
Is it hypocrisy on the part of coaches, especially coaches making nearly $10 million?
Absolutely, but coaches, but here's the thing, Clay, there is no coach ever that will say, I'm against NIL and the concept of players making money, because they would kill themselves in recruiting.
Right.
You would cut yourself off at the knees. What they're saying is, we have to put, every coach, we have to put guardrails on it so that it's not being used as a recruiting inducement. So a coach isn't going into a high school player's living room saying, we got $2 million in NIL money for you if you pick our school. That's what they need to cut out. And I don't know how you do it.
Well, we got about a minute. I want to start this conversation with you. We'll come back. Big year. We got Southern LSU playing on September 10th. That's huge for Baton Rouge. What's your impression?
I love that they're doing it. The game is not going to be competitive, let's be clear. But you'll remember this. You and I worked together many years ago. And in 2003, when LSU won the BCS and Southern won the Black College Football National Championship, the two universities came together. Did a parade. It was one of my proudest days. I got goosebumps thinking about it. One of my proudest days at Baton Rouge, because it wasn't North Baton Rouge, South Baton Rouge, black, white, Southern. It was just Baton Rouge. It was awesome.
Stay right there. We'll come back and talk with Matt about what this year will look like in college football, and Deshaun Watson, and then the Saints. Sean Payton, man, Florida really wants him. Back with Matt Moscona in just a moment. Moscona just showed me a video during commercial break with T-Bob.
Now you know why I get paid when I get paid to work with him. Go look at my TikTok.
Let's talk about the NFL season that's coming up here. First up, the biggest story over the summer has been Deshaun Watson. And this amazes me, okay? Candidly, the NFL gets a judge to look at the case involving Deshaun Watson, who's accused by a number of young women who are massage specialists of sexually inappropriate behavior. The league hands it to her. She gives him a 6-game suspension. Now the league says, well, I don't know about that. We're going to take a look at that, and maybe we'll decide to do something different. That's a bad look for the NFL.
Well, this all stems from how the NFL handled Ray Rice in 2014.
They botched it. And by the way, for those who don't know, Ray Rice was accused of having assaulted his wife, I think fiance at the time, wife now. And they gave him 2 games.
2 games.
Then the video became public, and they basically erased him from the NFL.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, I was pissed.
Well, the problem was the NFL had seen the Ray Rice video.
They had seen it already. But that's why I was upset with it.
Public reaction, outcry was, what are you doing? So the NFL had to backtrack.
But that isn't, I don't think that was fair, right? I think 2 games was too little, but at the same time, you decided what his punishment was, and then the public opinion and backlash made you crawfish on that. I think they're going to do the same thing with this.
Well, I think it's why they're handling this differently. They wanted to avoid the same situation, which is why they brought in an independent arbiter, and to try to look more tougher. Listen, Clay, the NFL has a collectively bargained agreement.
Yeah.
And in that, Roger Goodell is judge, jury, executioner.
Yep.
He hears the appeals.
Yeah.
But this is one of those instances where Roger Goodell, if Roger Goodell wanted to, he could have given Deshaun Watson
100%.
a year-long indefinite suspension. Didn't.
Yep.
They went third party because the public hates the fact that that Roger Goodell is judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
So what do? You bring an independent third party who hands too light of a suspension, so Roger Goodell can then come in and say, nope, we're going to be tougher in this instance. It feels like a dog and pony show what's happening right now. You want to suspend him more? Suspend him more. If you want to abide by the judge's rulings, do the 6 games and move on.
Right.
It's the fact that it's lingering feels insincere to me.
I think it is. I think they're just crawfishing because of public opinion in it. Cleveland didn't put a lot of his money in this year with the expectation that he was going to miss a lot of games. Let's move quickly now to this thing with the Miami Dolphins owner, who was found to have tampered with Tom Brady and Sean Payton, reaching out to them a few years ago, asking them to come and be a part of his organization and pairing them together. He got suspended until October.
Yeah, no.
Fined $1.5 million. The biggest hit was the draft pick, 1st round this year and I think 3rd round next year.
Yeah, 4 next year.
Yeah, 4 next year, okay. What about that?
tampering happens.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Right.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, sort of thing. It's a little surprising that this is the first time it's ever really been punished.
Right.
I think from a Saints perspective, the conversations this year were happening in January. So and that was before Sean Payton retired. So I think it's fair to wonder, like, was Sean Payton strongly considering going to Miami with Tom Brady? And then whenever that deal went kaput, he just left New Orleans because he was ready to take some time off. I think what it says is that either way, Sean Payton's time in New Orleans was going to be done.
So do you think the punishment was stiff enough?
As a Saints fan who watches Saints get hammered for Bountygate, a coach miss a year, assistant coaches miss, 4 players get suspended, multiple draft picks over multiple years, half a million $5 no, hell no, it wasn't enough.
Listen,
are you kidding me?
You seem a little fired up about that. Okay, cool. All right, so this football season.
49ers.
Yeah, I am a 49er. Listen, I didn't even bring it up. You brought it up.
Got that red tie on. I don't know what you're doing.
Well, it's subliminal. So this year, who's the favorite? Let me tell you this. You guys are getting ready to be on the 49er roller coaster. You are going to be the 49ers of this year. Here is why. My team that I love could have won the Super Bowl had it been for better quarterback play. Your team, the Saints, is good enough to win a championship if that kid at quarterback plays well.
I think Jameis, I'm excited to see him. I'm pulling for him.
Yep.
Here's and I've said this for almost 3 years now on Jameis. As a kid, a young guy who was very mature. He was physically elite, and it was never the second best at anything he ever did. He got humbled in the NFL. And there's something to be said for becoming a husband, for becoming a father, for being humbled. Took a year and just said, I'm going to go sit behind Drew Brees just to learn. Then had the injury.
He's worked hard.
He has worked very hard. I am pulling for him so much. Not only because I'm a Saints fan, I think Jameis Winston could be one of the great stories. Because physically, the talent's undeniable.
Well, look, I pull for him to a degree, except that Sunday y'all come to Santa Clara and play the Niners. I don't want to get too deep into it because I want predictions from you in a couple of weeks right before the season starts and all that. And dude, you got to get that T-Bob video out of your phone. I'm telling you. I'm just saying. Everybody in the
videos.
They heard it. And I can't even describe it. Just go find it yourself. All right. There's a park in Philadelphia that is at the center of some controversy. We will talk about that next. Stay right where you are. Thanks, Matt.
My pleasure.
So I'm sure by now many of you have seen video of what has taken place at Sesame Place in a little town near Philadelphia. It's a theme park with Sesame Street characters, and little kids go out and participate with these characters. And a couple of videos have surfaced about the interaction between some African American kids and some of the characters. Now, in all honesty, when I first saw the first video, I paused a bit because I said, well, I don't know who's in the costume. It could be, for all we know, a black person in the costume, male or female, and let me wait and see. But within a day, about 8 other videos popped out showing the same kinds of behavior. Mike McClanahan is with the local and state NAACP. Mike, and what was your reaction when you saw the video first?
You know, the traumatization of the children, the kids are now traumatized because, you know, all they want to do is be loved by these characters that they see on television. And that did not happen. So when I saw the little girl turn around and face her dad, my heart dropped. But, you know, not only did it drop, but then, you know, my energy level went up to like 1,000. You know, you do children like that.
So Sesame Street, and SeaWorld owns the park, but Sesame Street initially issued a statement basically saying, well, this is not what happened. You know, we apologize, but this wasn't a case of discrimination. And then they released another statement saying they're going to be putting their staff through sensitivity training. Well, wait, either you're guilty or you're innocent, number one. And with all these videos popping up showing specific treatment to children of color, I'm thinking, how are you working at a theme park that's going to have little kids there and then behave this way?
You know, Clay, children, racism and bigotry is taught. Those things are taught and learned. You know, if you put little kids in a room, be it black, white, green, purple, blue, they're going to play together because that's what kids do. Yeah. As they grow older, then they might separate because of experiences what's taught and poured into them. But at this stage, in this age of the children, they should have been given the opportunity to be kids and learn to love. Right. Love is what should be taught, not this other stuff.
You and Eugene deal with not just cases like this, but all kinds of cases of discrimination. And for me, the denial that it exists is frustrating. Acknowledging that it exists doesn't mean that everybody does it.
Right.
It just means that it does exist and it should be dealt with, correct?
Right. As long as we say it doesn't exist or it doesn't exist to the extent that we say it exists, then there's going to be rubber stamped, the Band-Aid's going to be placed over it, and the sensitivity that needs to be taught and learned as persons come to these various jobs isn't. Because if you low down not on the job, you low down when you leave the job, and when you come back to the job, you're still low down.
What do you believe that there is an increase in this kind of behavior right now in the country?
There is. There are extremes on both sides. You got persons who really love to hate, and you got persons who love to love. And I remind people, especially in Louisiana, let me be prefaced it by Louisiana, we have a history. It's ingrained in our DNA, to be discriminatory, to be hatred, to be bigotry. So other parts of the country is like that too. So for when I see stuff like that, I'm like, oh well, just people being people, because at some point in time, the true them going to come out. And so to get back to those characters, the true them was just being shown. It just somebody recorded it.
How do you fix this? How do we get to a place where the majority of people, and I do believe the majority of people don't follow the line of logic of bigotry and racism, but there are people who are out there. How do you get to a place where we can fix it? To where you identify the folks who would carry this hate and basically shun them from the rest of us who want to just live our lives?
That in the utopian world, that would be cool, and I like that, But we have to deal with these. They'll hide that. You can't really know what's in a person's heart until you're with them all day. And at some point in time, you identify them, but they'll leave you and go to someplace else to be low down and bigot and that kind of stuff there. So we just have to get them out of the spaces that they're in, make them feel uncomfortable, so where they'll want to leave and go to a cliff and say, here I come, cliff, fall off.
I got about a minute here. You also an attorney. If you are, and a couple of the families have already filed suit against Sesame Place, and I think they're going to end up, I don't know how they're either going to settle for a big number or end up in court, and it could be a lot worse. If you're advising one of these families, what would you tell them?
Well, a preface by saying I'm not a practicing one, but okay. but the easy thing is that we have to get someone's attention and to make them change behavior, mess with their money, hit their pockets, and they'll change a whole lot of stuff. And so, if it was my kid, we're not going to settle for no free passes for a lifetime to Disney World, none of that. No, we want to make a clear statement that there's no child that should have to suffer the way these children suffer. And so it would be something probably beyond my wildest imagination.
All right, we'll come back and continue with Mike about what's happening here in Baton Rouge now. I know that he and Eugene are doing a lot of work, not just here, but around the state. We'll kind of get him to check the pulse of what's happening in our region. Back with more in just a moment. Longtime community leader Mike McClanahan with the NAACP is here talking about where we are as it relates to race relations. We started the segment, Mike, the last segment, talking about what's going on at Sesame Place, but I know that you're doing a lot of work here. The NAACP works with the police department, the mayor's office, and all of these community organizations here in the capital region. Gauge where we are right now.
Well, we're still light years away from where we need to be. And that's because you have persons who love to hate, and you have a cheerleader cheering them on. Yeah, let's hate. Let's keep, black people, people of color, marginalized people, down and out, and we should be okay. And so as long as that stuff is prevalent, we're going to be light years away. But the other part to that is those of us who don't expound to that type of thinking, we need to do more about, let's show love, let's show that we're better together, let's see how we can make this work. Because a few years ago, someone told me that the black keys don't sound the best on the piano, nor do the white keys, but the black keys and the white keys playing together make the best music.
Makes harmony. I was in a meeting that the chamber put together a few weeks ago, and some guys were talking about crime. And I've often said, if you don't go into communities that are hurting, and see the people and talk to people. I'm sure people who watch the show have heard me say that more times than they can count. If you don't really go see the reality of the people who are living in parts of our community, you can't understand how the outcomes are created. And I encourage people who are worried about crime and who have the means to do something to go see where this stuff starts. And then your perspective, I think, will be improved. Am I wrong?
You're clearly right, Clay. You can talk about the other side of town all you want, but you don't live in their house or walk in their shoes, and you can never know what they experience. But we also need to face the fact that there are persons that make money off of the suffering of other people. And so to go in these communities and see these people suffering, you and I can say, what can we do to improve their plight? Somebody else would say, that's green. How can I increase my bank account based upon their suffering? And so we have to continue to come together because we're all God's children, and they need to have a better outlook on life. Their kids need to have a better future. Their kids can't never see a better future because all they see is what they've been seeing for the last generation or so.
What about, a couple minutes here, what about these young men? I mean, it's so bad right now. They're killing each other with impunity in the middle of the day, even in crowds. It's out of control, Mike. I mean, what do we do about that?
It is out of control. I like to believe that there's no one thing that fixed that. It just didn't start yesterday. It's been a long time coming. And now you've seen what happens. You've seen the lack of resources given to these families. You see young men who don't have fathers in their home because their fathers in jail or dead. And so when you have all those type of things in a blender, you're going to get some unhappy smells, some unpleasant looks, and some stuff that doesn't taste real good. But we all have to come together because not only does it affect those that live directly in that community, but it affects all of us.
Everybody.
When you live far away, close to, whether or not you're educated, uneducated, it affects us all.
It played out on Bluebonnet a few weeks ago, just right in front, middle of the day. And I think that the rhetoric alone is just not enough. We got to get our hands dirty, and we got to get in with the kids. Quickly here, if somebody wants to know more about the work that you're doing, how can they find out?
Oh, they can contact NAACP at 225-343-1075. That's 225-343-1075, or better yet, become a member. Look on the website, NAACP.org, become a member, become a lifelong member of the organization that continues to fight since 1909, and we are no ways tired.
And quickly, you do a radio show. Quickly tell us where that is.
The President's Show is on 106.1 on Sundays at 5. You can look us up on Facebook or Instagram. The President's Show with Eugene Collins and Mike McClanahan.
Y'all have a great weekend. It's fish grease hot outside, so stay hydrated. It's been raining too, but you guys enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you next week right here on The Clay Young Show.